Dr. Jacob Kirksey, Texas Tech University, followed by Dr. Jessica Gottlieb and Anastasia Perez.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Jacob Kirksey. I'm an assistant professor in the College of Education at Texas Tech. It's an honor to be here and speak with you today. Well, my colleague, Dr. Jessica Gottlieb, will highlight some of our research findings on the positive impacts of one particular teacher residency program. I'd like to spend my time highlighting the research-based components of teacher preparation that are embedded in the residency model more generally, and how this is going to fill a growing gap in how a stark number of new teachers are being prepared in the state. Texas has seen a surge in the number of teachers entering the classroom on day one, having completed minimal coursework, often fully online in asynchronous settings, and just the minimum of 30 hours of classroom observation. The allure of this approach is understandable. It's flexible, cost-effective, and reaches the whole state. But, as our research shows, it is not supportive in terms of teacher effectiveness or the longevity of staying in the teaching profession. On the other hand, the residency model, grounded in evidence-based practices, offers a comprehensive solution to some of these challenges, emphasizing several key attributes that have been proven effective in the research on teacher preparation: a focus on practice with effective mentorship, an integration of coursework and clinical experiences, and community partnerships. In residencies, candidates aren't limited to these brief observations. They're deeply embedded in classrooms. This immersion facilitates substantial hands-on experience and exposes them to the daily challenges of teaching. Complementing this is the guidance from an experienced educator and mentor, filling the feedback void often found in online asynchronous settings. Additionally, the residency approach seamlessly integrates academic coursework and on-the-ground teaching experience. Instead of simply reading about pedagogical theories on a PowerPoint, candidates are often introduced to theories of teaching or instructional strategies in their coursework and then given opportunities to implement these in real classroom settings shortly after. This ensures candidates don't just learn, but also apply their knowledge contextually. Finally, residency programs stand out for their deep commitment to the communities they serve. These aren't programs that recruit via flashy billboards offering immediate starts. They prioritize understanding and addressing local educational needs. This involves immersing in local schools, engaging with families and community stakeholders, and crafting teaching strategies tailored to specific student populations. This means that when candidates step into the classroom on day one, their strategies are tuned not just to general best practice, according to what the research would say, but also to the specific needs and realities of their students. In essence, residency-trained educators emerge with more than just skills. They possess a deep connection and commitment to their communities. In a world where quick solutions are often sought, residencies offer a flexible yet comprehensive community-oriented approach to teacher preparation. Our research shows that 1 in 4 students are currently being taught by one of the candidates prepared in a fast-track online program. So, it's time and essential for us to evaluate not just the speed, but substance of the process of becoming a teacher. Thank you.
Hold on, Mr. Kirksey. Yes.
Thank you, Chair Streepy. Dr. Kirksey, thank you for your testimony. You passed out a policy brief. Is that for you or for the one that says Dr. Kirksey on it?
Yes, there's one policy brief on, I think Wild West is in the title. That one is focused on the research I was talking about on the online pathway.
Would you mind orienting us just to this policy brief, the Wild West one, and
Sure.
your key takeaways? I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's tangentially related to your testimony related to residencies, but I could use some help connecting those dots.
Sure, I'm happy to. So in general, majority of educators are prepared alternatively. What we decided to do was look at kind of variation within the alternative certification pathway. Particularly, some of the largest providers of teacher preparation are preparing teachers entirely online. And so we decided to kind of group those programs into their own category to tie them, or see the extent to which we could connect them to effectiveness in the classroom and retention. And so the findings that you'll see in that policy brief say that in general, it's the only pathway into teaching that we link negatively to student achievement. And then also those candidates turn over at double the rate of other candidates. And so that's the takeaways from there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Additional questions for Dr. Kirksey? Thank you. Thank you for the report and thank you for being here.
Dr. Jessica Gottlieb. Texas Tech University, followed by Anastasia Perez and Dr. Paige Evans.
Okay. Good afternoon, Board. Thank you for the opportunity to share our work. I'm Jessica Gottlieb. I'm an associate professor in the College of Education at Texas Tech University. My colleague, Dr. Jacob Kirksey, and I conducted an evaluation of two of Texas Tech University's teacher preparation programs, Tech Teach and Tech Teach Across Texas. I'll do my best not to jumble all of the techs and teaches in my testimony, but I can't promise. Both of these programs feature a year-long student residency, in addition to coursework designed by Texas Tech faculty. Using Texas Education Research Center data and data provided by the Texas Tech Department of Teacher Education, we examined the impact of teacher preparation pathway on K-12 student learning outcomes in both math and reading. Our research design used variation in achievement outcomes based on students having teachers prepared through different pathways in grades 3 through 7 to identify the effective preparation pathway on student learning. We compared teachers prepared in the Texas Tech programs to traditionally prepared teachers at colleges or universities, other alternative certification pathways, programs run by ESCs or LEAs, as well as out-of-state credentials. We accounted for school and student characteristics. We found the following. Students of teachers prepared via the traditional Tech Teach pathway showed statistically significantly stronger gains in math compared with teachers from teachers from other pathways. Similarly, students in Tech Teach Across Texas showed stronger gains in reading when compared to the students of teachers prepared across other pathways. Teachers from both pathways improved more rapidly in their first 3 years of teaching when compared to other preparation pathways. And finally, students with disabilities, English language learners, students eligible for free and reduced price lunch, and non-white students with teachers prepared in either Texas Tech pathway showed stronger math gains when compared to similar students with teachers prepared via other pathways. We think these results suggest that the features of these preparation pathways, including student-teacher residencies, are linked to improved student learning outcomes when compared to other ways of becoming a teacher. Thank you.
Dr. Gottlieb, could you help me understand how Tech Teach varies with the college university? Like, for example, in math, on either one of these graphs, the figure 1 or figure 2?
Yes, so I handed out all of my handouts. I don't have the graph in front of me, but basically we held traditionally prepared, like college and universities. They're a reference group, and so their achievement is held at 0, and we compare relative to them. So Tech Teach, if you look at the STAR scale score, it's the blue dot at the very top. It's 1.86, so it's about 2 percentiles above, and it's statistically significant because it does not cross that DOS line in the middle.
And can you tell me a little bit about why you think that's the case, that Tech Teach would be so far ahead of the other?
Yeah, so we did not disaggregate the features of the program, so it's hard to pinpoint one specific thing, but we do think the residency as well as the quality of coursework and teaching within the program are probably linked to those improved outcomes.
And with the college university, would that also include the residency programs from other colleges and universities?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you for your testimony. So Tech Teach is a residency?
Yes.
Is it just in Lubbock?
So Tech Teach is just in Lubbock. Tech Teach Across Texas is located throughout the state.
Can you tell me a little bit more what you mean by throughout the state?
So I
But
believe,
Tech Teach Across Texas is the residency model just on the road?
yes, at various, so they partner with districts around the state of Texas. I don't have the list in front of me, but I know there's Hill Country, DFW, I believe they have some in San Antonio, as well as, I think, in the Houston area, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Commissioner.
Thank you, Chair Streepy. And thank you, Dr. Gottlieb, for coming in. I have a question about comparing these two graphs that we're seeing.
Yes.
And I think you're also a sub-author on the second one, so hopefully you can answer. But when I'm looking at this, in the one that's comparing the impact of Tech Teach, the 0 here is in comparison to the impact of other, like a traditional college
Yes, so the
university.
traditional university-based programs are
But-
held at 0.
Okay, and those don't include residency programs at other universities, or that does?
They could include
They
residency.
could include residencies. And then you've got some fixed effects in here, so you're actually trying to like pull out some of the other factors that might be
Yeah, we're trying to
impacting
account for the
performance.
student and school characteristics.
Okay. And then in the one that's comparing the online programs, what is the 0 on that one? Is this is just like scale, star scale
Yeah, star scale
scores?
scores. I believe the 0 on that one is also college, traditional four-year university.
Okay, so that one is also traditional four-year university. So that was one of my questions. 'Cause
Yes.
in some of the like ways you've grouped programs together is different.
Yes.
Just like super fascinating information, so it's helpful for me to like understand
Yeah.
like what you're pulling out and the impacts of these programs. And I think particularly, I think I'd be interested in seeing some of the impacts as we're thinking about like residency versus other types of programs and like how we're dividing out the types of alternative programs. I think is super helpful as the board considers what are we requiring of different types of programs and what are the outcomes that we expect as a result of those requirements. So just thank you.
Thank you. That's a great idea.
I had one other question. The other alternative, what might those programs be?
Yes, that's a great question. So those could be things like Relay Graduate School of Education. So they are basically, it's the category for, in the one where I'm lead author, it's the category for EPPs that are not kind of your traditional four-year university, are not run in partnership with a service center or a district, and aren't tech teach, basically. So it's kind of the catch-all other in that case. And that is different than the other category in the online one. We pulled out the online ones into their own category in that paper.
Okay, super. And I would also be interested in the number of each of those, like the size of each category at some time.
Yes, that's a
Thank
great
you.
idea. Thank you.
I agree, fascinating information. Yes, excuse me, yes, Dr. Gallon?
Thank you, because this is a tremendous amount of work, and you're both all to be commended. A few questions. When you looked at the data for online, did you take into account the accreditation status of the programs that were online? Or did you stratify and go, it's only for accredited or warned? So look at the online. Did
Yes.
you look, or was it all?
So for the online, we categorized it based on the features of the program as far as we could identify. I do not think we looked at accreditation status. I'm looking at Dr. Kirksey. We did.
Stratification?
They're all TEA accredited, yes.
So you did not look at the accreditation, only the
We
candidate?
started with the list of TEA accredited EPPs.
And did you combine it with probation and warning, or is online sample, is that population only accredited?
It's only accredited.
So that's only accredited programs, okay. The next thing is certification. Did you look by certification? For example, were they core subjects CC6 or core 4.8 or math 4.8? Did you look at the different? Because it would seem when you look at the STAR scale score, when you look at your core subjects exam, they have to pass that, they have to earn a passing score on that subtest. So you would think that it's not an easy exam, so you would, and it does have pedagogy. The core exam, as you well know, has pedagogy. So that's an interesting phenomena, because all these teachers, if they're all certified, took the same examination.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. I think that is something that definitely merits further investigation, but was not something we were able to do in this study.
Yeah, so were they all certified? And on the STAR, was it, did you look also at the population or the rating of the campus? Did you see if this was a blue ribbon school? Were they all
So we tried to account for school level factors by using school level fixed effects. So basically, we tried to control for everything about the school that was unobserved in our data. So that might have captured those things, but we did not specifically look for those school characteristics.
And my last question would be, when you ran this outstanding data, when you looked at number 2 on the lower student performance for reading, was this before Science of Teaching Reading or after Science of Teaching Reading?
I think that would be difficult to say. We did not have access to the actual curriculum going on within the EPPs. We only were able to look at the STAR test scores. So
it would be
I couldn't
great
tell you
to
like,
see the difference before STR and after STR, because STR does cover a great deal, and interns have, teachers commented that they become much better reading teachers after earning a passing score on STR. So that would be interesting to see the data. I do realize that, like everybody else is, and when are we going to do this, right? Nonetheless, thank you for your report, but those are just some points that we might
Yes.
want to consider as we make decisions.
yes, absolutely. Thank you for that feedback. That's very helpful.
Associate Commissioner? Oh, excuse me.
Thank you. I wanted to clarify the point about accreditation and make sure I understood that piece. You're asking, I think you're saying TEA approved ed prep programs were the ones that you included in your study.
Yes.
Dr. Galvan is asking if you took programs out of your study, if their accreditation status based on our accountability system was below accredited.
We included teachers that attended an accredited program at the time that they attended it.
I will get clarification and follow up on that. I understand where you're going with that, and I will get you a clear answer.
Yeah, so I think I understand your question. So if a teacher attended an APP that later went under probation or lost accreditation, that teacher was still included because they attended an accredited program at the time of their enrollment.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Dr. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Chair Strebe. I would just like to thank Dr. Gottlieb and Dr. Kirksey for bringing their research findings to the board. I think this is exactly what the field needs to be doing. Thank you for your commitment to investigating, to researching, the effectiveness of different pathways into the teaching profession. And I just want to encourage more professors and researchers to explore the field and to conduct research studies and to bring them to the board, because I think this is what really informs decision-making when we have sound and high-quality research being conducted on our own programs and the impact of preparation in the achievement of the students of the state. So thank you so much for sharing your research with us.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. We so appreciate it.
Thank you.